So today I will going to show you regarding this arbitrary argument, keyword argument, non-keyword argument that we have done in the last class, and there are some more examples were left. Nested function. You know how to do the nested function. Do you have the understanding of that nested functions?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Okay. So you have you seen the video of that arbitrary arguments, keyword argument, unlisted argument?
No, I didn't get the time, but I'll watch it by today.
Okay. So, okay, I can give you the general idea on that. This arbitrary argument means what? When you want to pass a group of argument. Okay, we have seen in some of the functions, like suppose here. Okay, I have created a name here. Means I created one function, right name, and I'm passing argument here. Means the parameter name. What value I'm passing? This Burke. Okay, so here how many value I'm passing to this function? One value, right? But suppose you have a scenario where you want to pass a set of value. In that case, what you will going to do? In that case, you will going to use this keyword argument or non-keyword argument. Non-keyword argument means what? When you just pass this key. Okay, you might be okay, let me show you from the GitHub only. You know, right, for how to access the GitHub.
Yes, yes.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay, just 1 minute, let me check that link so I can open it. I share you already that link. Let me open that. This was the GitHub link. In this GitHub link, if you see, these are the two code. Okay, let me open this. I can give you the general idea. In case, suppose if you anything is not clear, you can ask me anytime. Okay, this
Okay.
is the file. You download it. Okay, and inside this file, you see this args with asterisk symbol, and when you use double asterisk symbol, this is called asterisk symbol. Okay, this is present on the key 8 on your keyboard. This is called asterisk symbol, and here this one is called as keyword argument and non-keyword argument. When you see only args, that is an argument used for an argument, it means that it is a non-keyword. Okay, non-keyword in the sense you here you will not going to use any keyword with that. Okay, that's why you have not added a k here. And keyword argument means KWARGS, means keyword argument. What is this argument and keyword argument? Let me show you with an example. So here you can see this is the function, and I'm passing asterisk args. Okay, what do you mean by this? Like when you want to pass this set of a value, you can see 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These are the set of value. So when you pass this set of value to this multiply function, how you're going to implement this? With the help of keyword argument. Till now we have seen only one argument we were passing, as I've shown you previously, that we were passing only the name, right? But in case suppose you want to pass like more than one argument, where you want to check. Okay, when you check about it, then it will be great, right? Means you can directly pass more than more than single argument here. Okay, now here you can see there are five, almost six values are there, right? So 4 will going to be copy here to this argument. Okay, then you will going to check result is equal to 1 for I in a argument. That I, this is a temporary variable, and this will going to initialize how many time based on the number of value on this calling function. This is a calling function, right? This code I have already shared. Go to miss download it on your system, and you use Jupyter Notebook or Colab.
I do coding on GDB editor.
You don't use Jupyter Notebook or any Colab.
I have the account, but I don't use it. Like if I
Hmm.
use Visual Studio Code or Thorny. That is
Hmm.
better for me.
Okay, means you will able to run this, right? Means you won't face any difficulty while running, right? Means in case
No,
if
no,
you,
I understand.
yeah, yeah, in case if anything not clear to you, you please feel free to ask. Okay, so here you can see this I is your temporary variable that will going to initialize how many times? Six time. Why? Because based on the six value you are passing. So this is called as non-keyword argument. Here you are not passing any key. This whole six value will going to assign to this argument, and this asterisk symbol tells your function that we will going to pass more than single value to you, more than single argument to you. You have to work on a certain set of argument, and the output will also be generated based on that. This is called keyword argument. Sorry, non-keyword argument. What is keyword argument? Keyword argument in the sense when
So I
you.
had to find out there.
Hmm.
So when we entered 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like that six values,
Hmm.
so that args, what is it now? And now it's a list or a tuple. Like what is that now?
This is only the set of value. This is not a tuple. Tuple in the sense what? This one. When you give in a square bracket, at that
No, no,
time
I'm not talking about that.
okay.
The argument, like we have written asterisk and
Hmm.
args. So
Hmm.
when we get all the six values inside
Hmm.
it, so what is our args then? What is it like?
Okay.
Tuple or list?
No, no, it's not a tuple and list. Tuple and list will not be there. It's just a variable argument. Okay, it's just a variable. But when you add an asterisk, in that case, it will act as a kind of an array. Okay, array, you know.
Yes, I do.
So this array will going to accept the value in the list. Okay, this array will going to accept the value in the means in the sequence. So that is the reason that this I will going to be run how many times? Six times based on the number of value you pass. It will not be act as, it will be you can say it that it can be act as a list, and one by one it can accept the value, but the whole value will not be going to pass as a list. This particular variable argument will act as a list, you can say it, but the whole uh, means value that you will point to pass will not be passed as a list or tuple. Let me show you what is that. You can see here inside this parenthesis I am taking a square bracket, right? This square bracket, it means that now I am passing a list to this argument, means this variable. How it is that when I'm trying to print this two time, you can see a result 2. Okay, so based on that I will going to print two time. Okay, so when you will going to pass a list, then list will, the whole element of the list will be act as a single entity. Okay, it means something like a you are creating a copy of a bucket. It's like that. When you suppose for I in a argument, so like 4. Okay, 4 in this argument, result is equal to result into I. You know the representation, right? Like this. So result is what? 2 into I, 4. So it will going to copy it two times because you are passing as a list, as a single entity it will act. Similarly, if you're going to multiply a list by 3, it will going to print 3 times. Now in case of tuple also it's like that. If you pass this inside, if you take a two parenthesis, then this one, this single parenthesis will be act as an entity, single entity. Do you understand what I'm saying? Is it clear or looking some
Yeah,
complex?
yeah, it's clear.
Okay. So when you pass as a single entity to the whole list, in that case, it will going to just create a copy of the value 4567 4567. Okay. But when you pass the tuple also like this 2 3 4 5, in case of two parentheses you need to use, okay, but when you use single parenthesis, it means that this 2 3 4 5 are a separate entity, okay. In the video I explain this. Go through this video, you will easily understand. I have explained with the example, and I have run the code also, okay. If you want, I can run right now also, but I want you to run this so that you will get understanding on that, okay. So here also, when you do multiplication of a simple list, it will going to print each character 3 times. But when you do it like this in this case, this will be act as a parameter, and each parameter will going to assign to this array of a, which is of an argument which is of an array type. So they will, or you can say list also, but there this list will going to accept a single value one by one, and based on that it will work. But when you are going to pass a list, whole list, okay, then it will be whole entity will be going to pass, that list will be act as a single entity. So that is a difference. Is it clear?
And one more, yeah,
Hmm.
and one more thing. We know arrays are like they contain only one data type. So
Hmm.
if I give like we have given a list 4 5 6 7,
Hmm.
and I give a tuple 4 5 6 7. So will that work? Because there are two data types now.
um okay. Means it will work, yeah. It will work. You can see here, I'm passing a keyword argument, right? You can see here, I'm passing the name, okay, this is a string, and this one is a number. Do you see this? But it is still working, right? This is a keyword argument. Here also it will work. In case if you pass a value, here also it will work. In Python there is nothing like arrays and all. It will be in the form of list only, we use it, right? List string, with the help of index only we will going to use it here in Python, okay. Have you done work on other programming language?
Yeah, I have a lot of coding background.
Okay. Java, you work Java,
Yes,
C?
yes.
Okay, so Java
Not
and
C, but
C.
Java, yes.
Okay, in Java, there is a collection, okay. In Java you use an array, right? So there is a
Yes.
concept of an array, and there is a list also, linked list and everything. In Python, in term of array we use a list, okay. List, tuple, these all are data structure we use in Python. So here also this argument will be, you can say, act as a array, or it will be act as a list. But this particular argument args will going to accept element one by one, like a based on the index. List 0 index, list 1 index. But when you pass in a square bracket while calling, that whole element will
I
be
understand that is one entity. Yeah,
Hmm.
I know that.
Yeah. So that I'm telling you, that only I'm coming to your question. That will be act as a whole single entity. And now that the question that you ask me, that if you want to pass a different data type, so will it work or what? Obviously it will work, right? In the list also, if you going to assign a different data type, it holds, right? Have you done work with the list?
Yes,
Which,
yes,
so
yes.
here also it will work. Here in this example also I've shown you, means in this code I've already added this code. Here this is all keyword argument. What is that keyword argument? In this keyword argument, we are using this keyword with that particular value. Okay, this is the difference between these two. Here you are just passing a value, and here you are just, means you are passing with the keyword. For example, roll number, roll number 1, roll number 2, roll number 2, roll number 3, like that. Or you can say name, student 1, name 2, student 2, name 3, student 3, or certain set of a value. So here
So whenever we use keyword argument, it creates key value pairs.
yes, correct, good, very good. It will be passed in the form of key value pair. This name is your key. It will work as a dictionary where key value pair are there. So you are passing key as well as value both there. So suppose if you want to print key, it will going to print all the keys with respect to the value, okay. Like here, while calling the function, I am passing this value, and you are printing this keyword argument, right? So it will going to print as it is whatever you are reading here, keyword and the argument, keyword and the argument. So it will act as a key and value. Left hand side will be your key, right hand side will be your value.
And here also it will take one by one, right?
um Yes, yes, correct. No, no, 1 minute. Key value for loop one accept print accept print owner accept print number yes. If you use the for loop here we have used the for loop. So if you also write a for loop for I in a keyword argument, print keyword argument, then based on that it will going to print.
Okay,
Okay, it's just like a list only, means based on the index they will going to print. The difference between these two was like here we were using the for loop, and that's why it was printing line by line, means one by one they are doing the operation. But here what we did, we directly print out, that's why it is printing the whole at once. It depends on you, like if you want to print line by line you can use like a for loop, and then based on that you can print it. So based on that it will going to print key 1, key 2, key 3, like that. Is it clear to you?
got it, got it.
Yeah. So this is the way of doing that. This In this file I've added different kind of functions where I've used if condition, for loop, and logics, like loops condition I've used inside the function and I've shown. I think you are like comfortable with this. In the last two class also, when you attended, I've shown how you can use the condition inside this function, right? Here also you
I
can
know.
see, yeah, whatever the value will going to pass, this condition will going to check, and based on that it will going to return. So can you tell me one thing, like why do we use return keyword?
Return keyword, because if we call a function, the
Hmm.
function will be run by the compiler, but if we return something, then only we'll get it inside the main program.
Hmm. Hmm. This return keyword will take the flow of the program back to the function once you are done with this task. Okay, it will going to return, if you want to return anything it will going to return it, and the flow will immediately go back to the function. So the next time it will be available for processing of the next condition. Now in case suppose if you don't use return, then it will be used in a flow. So suppose in case if you want if you after return if you write anything print and all, then in that case it will not be going to read by compiler. Why? Because once it encounter the return keyword, the flow will go back to this function immediately. If you have done work in a Java, just
Yeah,
try.
I know. Like whenever we use return, as soon
Hmm,
as the compiler will read it, it will return the value, and
hmm,
it will directly go back to the top of the function, and it will like means remove that part, so
correct,
that the function will just end when return is there.
correct, good. So that function will going to not able to read anything if you write after the return keyword, because the flow is already go back to that function name again, means the function declaration part. So that is the reason the return keyword is used to write to return the value as well as take the flow back to the function, so it will be ready for the next calling. So this is the thing behind it. Now today I wanted to show you nested function, right? Nested function is also simple, it's not much difficult. Like you can see on my screen that I have created one function f1 and one variable I have created s, which is of my string type, and I have written this I love data science and Python programming. Okay, now inside this function I have created one more function. That function will going to print this outer function value of this s variable plus this f2 work, something like that. Okay, and after that I will going to call f2. Okay, so here let me run this function. Why do we I call f2 here? Can you tell me by looking into this code?
Because inside F1, if we
Hmm.
don't call F2, the compiler will just ignore the function. It will be useless.
Yes. So an f2 I have already added the concept of means I have already used this s variable. So even if I don't call f1, I can directly with the help of f2 I can get both.
Yes, because
Hmm.
the S is globally
Correct.
available for inside F1 function, because S is declared inside F1 and F2 is also inside F1 only.
Correct. Oh, sorry. F2. Sorry, I have not run this. Oh,
You
F.
can't run F2, right?
Oh,
F2 is
sorry.
inside F1.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry. No, I wanted to print the content, so that's why I tried it there. It's F1 call. Okay, okay. Sorry. Here I have already printed. Why I'm taking that? Yeah. Yes. I love data science and Python programming. So this one is calling that F1. F1 will first, the compiler will go to this line. Then inside this nested function F2, you are calling this S1 plus F2 work. So when you call this global, this function which is at a outer loop, it will going to print the content. Actually, I was thinking why Python programming was not coming. So that's why. Now here, you can create one more function as you can see here, def function number. Here one more function I have created it, and inside this I am printing this is an outer function. This is obviously an outer function. Inside this I created one more function, def function 2, and then inside this I created a inner function. And this if number is greater than 5, I am putting one condition here. If my number, whatever the argument I will going to pass, is if it is greater than 5, I will going to return the content of function 2. Okay, and it will going to return the value, and then the flow will come back here, function 17, and it will going to print the function values like you can see here. I'm passing here 7, right? This 7 will going to pass it here, number. This is an outer function. It will come inside, it will going to check, print. This is an inner function, number. Okay, so here what you're doing, you are checking the condition here. Sorry, 1 minute. Sorry, I got a call, so I just yes. Do you understand, right? What I'm saying here?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. So this number, when you're going to pass it here, the condition will going to check with this 7, is if it is greater than 7, it will going to call, or it will going to return this function 2. So function 2, you can see it here. It will, this condition become true. So it will going to return in that case the content of this function 2. Content in the sense what you have declared inside this, it will going to return that. So as the flow is coming 7, it will come inside this. As you have not put any condition, so it will directly print this outer function. Then in here, this is an inner function, and this condition will going to check, and it will going to return it. So in this way, this function, nested function, they works, means the flow is like outer function. Then you will come inside, take care of the indentation. You might have worked done on this nested function, right?
Yes.
Yes. um okay. Can you try doing one function on your screen? uh, if you any function, can you able to do it right now? If I say like, can you create one nested function?
Yes, this is share my screen.
Okay, yeah, I'm making you host. Just try it, so I can like means, so it will be assured like you will able to make some complex program also on the same.
You can see
Okay,
my screen.
okay, yeah, yeah, I can see you use online compiler.
Generally use VS Code, but sometimes I use this GDB.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So what is the function which I write?
Any function you can create, nested function, for printing any two things,
Okay, so
printing any
I'll
two
say
lines.
addition function, which
Yeah,
not
yeah.
addition, admission function.
Okay, you create it.
Yes, this is a function.
Yes, just run this.
ADM. Oh, I wrote the spelling wrong.
Hmm.
Done is not
Done is
defined.
not defined.
So I'm writing the spelling wrong. Yes, it works.
Hmm. Good. So like this it works. Now can you explain me the flow, how this
Yes.
calling is happen?
So first, the compiler will read this code. So first, it will go inside this function,
Hmm. Good.
and then it will first look at these functions. First, initially, it is going to ignore the functions.
Hmm.
Now it will go to the if condition, and
Hmm.
it will actually just read this function, ignore it. Then when we call this function, then it will come up here. Then it
Hmm.
will pass the argument is 8. Then
Hmm.
it will ignore these two functions, go
Correct.
to this if condition. It will
Hmm.
check if it is greater than or equal to 5.
Hmm.
Then it will, if it is that happens, it will say, it will call this admission done function, and else it will call this. So when this happens, it will read at this, it will see that we had already, the compiler has already run across this. It will come up here and it will do this part, and that will be it.
Correct. So as you have passed it here, he 8. It will copy to this add number. Correct.
Yes,
Compiler will read this value, means the function admission done,
yes,
admission valid that you have written it. Compiler they read the value, but they wait for the calling of the function. They wait for calling here. Now
yeah,
here,
yeah,
okay. So this is the declaration and definition part. You have declared the function admission done, and you have defined here admission done and admission invalid. Now actual working here start as you said. Admission will going to be condition check, and now here once you call the function will initiation of that function or beginning execution start as you call the function. So the flow will go to this admission done, and you will going to print that. So
yeah.
it's like that. You said absolutely correct. Good, good. Okay. Let me share the screen. So this part you already know, right? So nested function, what I can else and tell you. Okay, I can just show you some more example. You can practice on that. So for like when we connect it in the next session, I can start a lambda and all.
Yes, okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Here one more, as this is a base on that only. Okay, it is similar to that. What you have made it, it's similar to that. Here we are defining the condition, printing it, then I have created one function, I have defined the body. Now actually here the condition will go into check. Here calling the function with two argument. What is that? Age and is working. So this 20 in working will be copied to this here, will assign to this age and is working variable. Then it will read this statement. Compiler will going to read it, but it will wait for the condition to check so that they can call it, and it will read it, so it will wait for the calling function. Now here they check, is 20 is greater than 65? No, so here it won't come. As if is working is equal to 0? No. Else part it will going to execute. You can go out. Hooray. Don't forget to study for a data science. Or okay, let me do it for Tejas Python programming. Okay, like this it works. So you already know the flow, but in case when you have to add more condition, then try out with this. Okay, you can try this example, having adding some more complex condition, like if age is 65, bitwise operator or relation operator is already there. Logical operator, you can try it like this, right, this and
Yeah.
operator or operator.
Yes. Very well.
Yes, that you can use it here, and you can try it. Similarly, there is one more function, this calculator. This is also I sure that you can do it here. Yeah, I have not given you example where you can accept an input from the user here. Okay, this num1 num2 are accepting the input from a user here, right?
Yeah, I understand that.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
So this integer, they will going to accept a integer value from the user. Here also they will going to accept an integer value from the user. So the syntax is int input given me the first number. So here it is of an integer type. So both you are taking integer type. And the third one, transaction input, give me the transaction. So as it is, you have not defined integer, it means that it will be of other type, or maybe string or some value you will going to accept here. Now this is your main functions. As we are define a function calculator, so it is something based on arithmetic calculation, like summing. You can say you can take it different, you can take sum, you can take sub. In place of multiplication, you can, okay, let it be multiplication itself, sum and sub. Yeah, so I've added some more complex condition here. Okay, when you will going to run it, start running all this function one by one, so it will make you practice. I know you know this, but it will make you more strong on this, adding more complex condition and function. So here, as this sum is equal to num1 num2, so as you said, user will going to, when the user will going to call it here, the flow will go back here. Based on that, you will it will call the user to give any input, first number, second number. As you give the input, then it will going to perform some operation based on the num value and num2 value. Then it will do subtraction, multiplication, division. But in that case, it will check for the transaction also. Okay, first thing is what, accepting the input, and second thing is transaction. So here the user will going to read this, means sorry, compiler will going to read this, but it won't perform any operation here. As I said you, it will wait for the calling function. Okay, so it will wait for the calling of the function. So it will also going to check what third parameter is passing by user. Now here you can see, if transaction is equal to sum, if the value that is passed by this transaction variable will be equal to sum. Suppose I wanted to do sum, I will pass this variable as a sum. Okay, I will pass a value sum. Then it will going to call this sum function, and this flow will go to this return sum function. It will going to return the value for the addition of two number. Similarly, it will be for sub, multiplication, division. As if you enter any other value other than this sum, sub, multiplication, division, it will going to give you wrong transaction. Is it clear?
Yes, it's clear.
Good. So I'm calling here, tell me one number, your lucky
20,
number. What?
20, 20.
20. Okay. Any other number?
5.
Okay. Now I wanted to give,
Dividing.
okay, dividing. spelling is right, yeah, correct. So it is giving 4.0, right? So in this way you can add more condition. You can do mod also, right? You already know mod function. When you will going to do try with mod operation,
Yes, yes.
let me do, shall I do or you will able to do it?
I will be able to.
Okay. Similarly here one more function, that is based on the nested one. So here also it's based on that only. Here I created one function f. I'm passing a parameter x to it. Then here one more function gx. Okay, can you tell me local and global variable, do you know?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so this x is global or local, this x1?
It is a local variable, but for that function, G
Yes,
can
good.
access it because it is inside F.
Yes, correct. It's local to this respective g function. Now what about this x is equal to 3?
That is,
Sorry, your voice is not audible.
that function is global.
Correct.
I mean, X is equal to 3, it is global.
Yes. And here this x is in scope of which function? F. Okay. So here you can declare either in the down or you can declare in the top. No matter. Just need to take care of the indentation and space, right? So here when you declare inside this function, it means that this is local to this function and it will going to add x 1 to x and it will going to print it. Okay. Now what you are doing, you are assigning the value that will be going to obtain from this function g to this a, and you will going to return x. Now after that you have already declared this is a global variable and z is equal to fx. So this global variable will be copy here this x, this will paste it here and it will going to print it. So as I said you, compiler will going to read each and every line of the code, but it will make the function start working as we call the function. Just like there are a lot of students are there, you have a lot of friends in the school, but when your teacher asks you, hey Tejas, try to solve this code, then you start working on it, right? Because they have call you, so you come to know that okay, I need to start the task. So like this it works. So compiler, they read the statement, they read the instruction, and then they wait for the calling. So here you can see x is in function scope f is 4, you have added here, so it is printed like this. And the next is your 3. So this 3 will be your global variable. So I am adding this. I will going to upload this both code. You can practice on this. Tejas, you have any doubt, you can ask me. In case anything previous class, if you are not clear or anything that you stuck, you can ask. Have you solved that
No such
question?
doubt.
Sorry.
Yeah, dictionary, that file part, no, I
Yes,
did.
yes. Okay, yeah, great.
So what I did is, I'll tell you.
Mm,
So what I did is,
mm,
I have background in JavaScript. I know JSON.
mm,
So there is the JSON module.
mm,
So I had my dictionary and I had to write it as a file. So I imported JSON, and I wrote it as JSON.dumps. That is a function. It will parse it
mm.
like in a JSON format. So it got, that part was done. So it was successful.
But you were saying on that day you want to implement in Python, right?
Yeah, JSON works in Python. There's that
Okay,
JSON
okay,
module.
okay. You use JSON module in Python. I thought
Yeah.
you write a code in Java and JSON you read it.
No, no, in Python, I imported JSON module.
Yes, yes, JSON library. Yeah, I got it. So this code you practice today, this is one more function one, but you know this, right? As I already explained you, like arbitrary, keyword arbitrary. This also known as unlist argument. Means you are passing the list of an argument here. Okay, this argument, keyword argument. So in the next class, we will see some other module. So will you practice these functions, this file?
Yes, sure.
Okay, yeah. Just have a look on this. Similar, it is similar to this, only I have added some more complex code here. I know it's not complex for you, you know it, but I think it will help you to get more concept and get more understanding like this. So have a try this wherever platform you run. Just try this and let me know in case if you stuck somewhere. So I will going to download this and okay, let me download right now and share it to you. But I'm sharing this IPYNB file. Will you able to open it?
Yes, I will open. I have Colab.
Hmm.
I had one doubt about that uh,
Yes.
keyword argument.
Okay. Yes.
So
Ask me.
suppose in the function I take parameter.
Hmm.
So like where was that function in which we had done that name part? Can you show that?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. 1 minute. This one only. Yes. Yes. Hmm. Yes.
Yeah, this one. So we have written in the bracket taking parameter asterisk asterisk and kw args.
Hmm.
And if we write comma and take some other argument, so how will when we are calling it, how will we differentiate that if it is for kw args or it is for the other argument?
KWS. Okay. 1 minute. You mean to say that if you want to pass any argument here, so
Yeah,
that will.
another argument that is a simple argument, just one.
But
It's like a
in
variable.
so in that case, you will not pass any name here, na? You are not passing a keyword with that. When you use this keyword argument, here you will
Okay, so we
pass
just
name.
like we're writing name is equals to
Hmm.
Murad. So now we'll just write hello. Like we can
Yes.
just say anything. Okay.
Yeah.
And if we had to do that with non-keyword argument, then
Non-keyword argument. In that case, we have another option. Like you can directly add a variable name also. Like suppose asterisk argument as comma any variable. Like suppose p is equal to 6. That also we can do it, but you are saying like you wanted to pass, but it's I don't think it will possible like that, means because you are
yeah, I
passing.
just wanted to ask how
Yes.
does that work? Now it's clear.
No, it's not work. You can do like this, comma and take any variable like result is equal to 1 like this, right? So you can add like this also argument here, comma result is equal to 1. So when you will going to print it, it will going to print whatever the argument set of argument you are passing and the value of that argument that you are initializing here, like result
Yeah,
is
the
equal to
default
1.
default
Yeah,
value.
correct, good, default value, correct, so that you can use it.
Yeah, now everything is clear.
Yeah, you try it. In case you stuck anywhere, you can just ping on the Trello. Okay, I will see some more example and I will explain you in the next class. But please ask questions, because that will be like helpful for you, and I will also going to do some more research in that, so it will be beneficial for both of us. Like suppose as you
Yeah,
ask me the question, I know I work on this. I will check more example. If I found some good example, I will edit in the next class session, as I always try to do it. So that will be like we will have a good content for practice. Okay, so try it. If you stuck anywhere, please feel free to ask.
sure.
Okay. Yeah, I have added here. Let me. Today date is 8 July, right? So I have already committed it. Okay. You can ask me
Yes.
anytime.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Bye. Bye. Take care. Just
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
you have a link, right?
Yes, I have the link.
Yes. Yes. Download this and practice it.
Sure, sure.
Okay. Yeah. Bye. Take care. Tejas. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Bye. Welcome.